Hello, friends. Hey, guys. Uh, Good evening. Really wanted to make this video for a long time, and finally, I'm making it. So, the issue that I've been facing with making the video is just that there are so many things to talk about, and I was like, let's try to get everything under one video. But then it was like, okay, probably not everyone is aware about whatever terms I'm using or indicators that I'm using. So it's that I have to go through each and every single one of them. So better I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about few different charts. We are gonna look at some past trades that we have taken in the channel before. Uh, Throughout the past 3 4 years or so, there are few charts that have done that have performed extremely well. There are few that that went completely right. So we are just gonna look at what went wrong, what went right, what was that I was looking at, and yeah, we'll just go through a couple of charts, and hopefully that will give you an idea about what my trading strategy is like, because the you see, one thing you need to understand is throughout the years, I have tried lot of different trading strategies, lot of different trading methods, indicators, tricks, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so it's that there is no single strategy that I use personally at the moment. I don't think so. There ever was. Most of the time, I have always been looking for confluences. Like I know few people. Even today, there are a lot of people that I personally follow. There are few traders over Twitter. There are few traders over in Telegram. There are some in Discord as well that I like to keep up with. That I like to follow, that I like to see what they are looking at on the charts. And most of the time, the reason why I'm following them, it's not because to copy their charts or follow their idea. It's for me to find some confluences with my own. Okay, there are few other reasons why I haven't been posting as much as I've been, throughout the 2 3 years, like probably 2022 2023. It's when I remember 2020 was when we started the channel, when I started the channel, and it was early on. I genuinely started channel just because I wanted something where I can post, where I can go back through. And Telegram has always been one of the best platform, and I'm recording this on TradingView. Most probably I will get banned. I mean, my this probably published video might get banned here, so I'm gonna post this on YouTube as well. Hopefully TradingView is not gonna ban this idea, hopefully, because I'm just sharing. That's it. I'm talking about charts on TradingView itself. Like TradingView is the platform that most of us actually uses. Anyways, back to the point. So Telegram has been a big help to go through lot of different things. Like as a crypto trader, when I started, it was, I mean, I got introduced to crypto back in 2016 or 2017. It was, I can't remember exactly which year or which month it was, but I remember it was when I had invested like 2000 rupees via Zeppe, and I had made about 8,000 bucks. Okay, and for me it was big deal. Like, just when I tell you, I don't come. I mean, my father passed away back in 2012. I was even though I'm a Gujarati, I don't have that rich family background. Okay, so for me, when I came to Mumbai, it was really big deal for me to make it was good money. Like I remember back in 2015 and 16, I used to make about 10 to 12,000 a month. So yeah, it was pretty big deal that I was able to make 8,000 or 9,000 bucks of like within 15 to 20 days. I genuinely don't exactly remember the time frame, and I haven't logged into that Zappe account in a long time. I think so Zappe even stopped working as well. I can't genuinely remember. Anyways, my point was that throughout the years, like I have tried different platforms. I have tried different things. So Telegram was one of those platform where a lot of people were active, and it was far more easy to maintain a channel, to maintain charts, and just go through, like, just search for the hashtag and you will see what you did. You will see how well you did, what your chart did right or what your chart did wrong. And I'm sure if you go through some of my earlier posts, you are gonna be watching it charts that are like that were literally thrown by kids. So I literally grew as a trader over the past couple of years, and the reason why I did that, it's because I never stopped learning, right? This is one of the reason why even today as well, like, if you can see here, this is astro study. So this is what I'm learning about, because at the moment as well, I'm not that good with time. Okay, I am good with price. I think so, I'm good with price. Okay, I know these are the certain levels that I'm looking at, these are the certain levels that I don't want to look at. But when it comes to time, when it comes to accurately timing that move, that okay, this move is gonna happen on that day, even in intraday as well, I'm not that good when it comes to time. So I'm trying to learn about astro. I'm trying to learn about GANs as well, GAN angles as well. There are some FIB time zones as well that I'm looking into. I'm trying to learn. So all I'm gonna suggest is just never keep on, never stop learning. You just gotta keep learning on. You just gotta find different things. If you come across something that is interesting for you, you should just go ahead and research more on it and see how it can help you to grow as a trader. Just a minute. Yeah, guys, sorry. So as I was saying, yeah, you should never stop learning. Basically, you should try out different things and see what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Simple. Like, these are the indicators throughout the years I have tried. Okay, and these are just the indicators. Okay, I don't have to go to strategies and a lot of different things for using all of them. But yeah, these are the indicators that I have tried throughout the years, and there are few that work for me. Okay, there are few that I find useful to date. So I'm using those indicators. Simple. As for the strategy, it's mix of finding different confluences, as I said initially. So at the moment, I guess you guys will understand once I go through charts. But this video, the intention for making this video is just that I genuinely want to get the feedback from you guys. See, I really don't want to start making videos about from scratch, like how to find support, how to find resistance, and all those kind of basic things, because there are a lot of good content available on YouTube. There are a lot of extremely useful videos that I have even learned through, right? So I know there are a lot of resources available throughout the internet. Like, whether you can find the PDF, you can find a lot of website, you can find, go ahead and watch videos as well. There are a few sessions on options trading as well. There are a few sessions on using different strategies, even simple EMA crosses as well. You will be able to find a lot of good videos, right? So I genuinely want to understand what you guys are looking for. Then only I will be able to help, right? It's that, to be honest, I'm not good at teaching. So I really don't want to start a complete technical analysis series, because I don't think I am that good as well. Okay, probably someone is gonna say that I'm good. Okay, I'm good, I'm better than XYZ person, but I know there are a lot of people who are far more better than me, and I know how much I can improve myself as well, right? So it's just that it's limitless, like, right? So that's the reason why I said initially as well, never stop learning, right? So we are 9 minutes in, almost done with the rant. So let's just get on with the video. All right, so let's go. Eight drawings. Hold on. One, two, three, four. Yeah, let's just clean this up. All right. So this is. I think so. It will be better, as I said, that if I go through different charts, you will be able to understand what I actually usually looks at, right? What I usually look at on the chart, right? So most of the time, I hope most of you are aware about finding basic support and resistance. If not, that is just a horizontal trend line. All right, let me just turn on this. So this will help us better. All right, so this is a monthly chart. Most of the time, as I'm a swing trader, I most of the time I start using I start my chart analysis, or start using monthly time frame to find my bias, to find my entries. Let's say if I'm looking at a coin, I am looking for different levels. Like here, for example, for BTC, I'm looking at some higher time frame levels that are kind of interesting, that may eventually, like, probably it won't come tomorrow because we are looking at monthly chart, but it may come in future. And whenever that certain level is hit, it may be a good level for me to buy long term, because monthly chart, when you are looking at long term, you are looking at few months at least down the road, not just immediately what price is going to do. You are at least looking at few years or few months. Like now, like here, BTC was, it wasn't as big as it is now here. So that's why we have had this rally. Like how we look at shit coins or meme coins, the reason why they pump so much, it's because the market cap is so low. It is far more easier for people to move that coin. Like it doesn't take that amount of liquidity for move certain low cap coin. Like let's say a coin is sitting at, like for example, turbo here. Let's say turbo here. Yeah, this was a good idea, right? So turbo we had traded, just a minute. Yeah, so this was the idea that I posted back in April for turbo, right? So turbo was one of my favorite coins. I remember when it was launched, it was really hyped. It was first coin that was created via ChatGPT. I think so. It was ChatGPT that the guy used, and it was completely coded and completely created. It had a good history with it, right? It had good backstory to it. So it was a good coin. Then obviously, like any other coin, after the launch, it just dumped. There were a few bounces it dumped. So most of the time, what I'm looking for on the chart, it's some kind of pattern, some kind of, even on newly listed coin as well. I don't generally get into it instantly, until and unless I am just I'm just gambling. Simply speaking, I'm just gambling. I will never enter a coin at, let's say at the first candle. Like, don't look at it as a weekly candle, just look at it as a simple candle. Let's say the coin has launched here and this is the price action that you are getting, all right? So I usually don't enter a coin at the first candle. I usually wait for a few candles to wait for few candles to form some patterns for me to enter. Most of the time I'm looking at triangles, and ascending triangle is one of my favorite pattern. I think so. I've traded a lot of new coins. Like I remember even trading not coin as well with it. There were few other launches as well. I genuinely can't remember, but I think so. It was last year, 2023. I had posted few charts on 15 minutes when some new coins had launched, and we had traded a couple of those right back in 2023. I don't think so. I had posted much in 2024, except for airdrops. Which is a complete story I really want to talk about, but not at the moment. I will talk about airdrops in later on, probably next video if I may. So most of the time, I'm looking at the big candles. Like for turbo here, uh, the way I mark my support and resistance, I'm looking at the big candles, right? So this is the horizontal tool, a horizontal line that I use, and most of the time I'm looking at this big bulky candles, not this dodgy or dodgy looking or the small candles. I'm looking for the big candles where price have reacted pretty well. So this was the open weekly candle, where price had rallied quite nice. It was closed here, and this was the next weekly open. Of course, it tried to go up, but it didn't have that much momentum, and we just dump. So afterwards, this is the another level that I was interested in. And after price had made this a small inverse head and shoulder, if you can see here. So this was a small inverse head and shoulder. It's like you shouldn't be looking at inverse head and shoulder or any pattern for that example, that it should be a perfect handle. But like this was a small inverse head and shoulder that had a breakout, right? So then what I look for retracement, like I see, okay, yeah, this have a nice buying here, right? So what I look for is I usually use Fibonacci retracement. You can see a fib retracement. Fib retracement, most of the time I draw it with, like, I use the lowest of the low point, and I look at the highs, and I see how much it have retraced. If the coin have retraced about 0.5%, I usually mark it as okay, yeah, it have retraced more than enough for me personally. I generally don't look at 0.382. Now I do sometimes, like in this Fibonacci retracement, you can see 0.382 is marked here, but most of the time I genuinely look at zero point 0.5, and 0.618 is my, of course, that's a Fibonacci golden ratio, Fibonacci golden number. I'm sure most of you have heard about, 0.618, right? So this has retraced zero point 0.5 here. It had nice rally up, a nice rally on the upside. Now again, we are looking for a new entry for the new highs, right? Targeting at least this high here. So the way I chart is like this was the low before market had rally. So I use this low and I just take the highest of the high that market have had during that rally, and I look for the retracement. Like see here how 0.618. Oh yeah, and my Fibonacci retracement, especially on higher time frame, on weekly time frame, I use Fibonacci levels based on the log scale, because most of my chart I'm 90% of the time on log scale. There are some times like say on a lower time frame, let's say I'm doing options trading, I'm not on log scale, because like this I just it's just I just can't deal with this on lower time frame. So sorry, on higher time frame. So on higher time frame, most of the time I trade with log scale. It's far more clean for me to trade with. I also have levels on fib levels as well on log scale. If you are drawing, if you are drawing trend lines, if you are marking your levels, I mean not horizontal lines, but if you are doing, anything related to, vertical or even squiggly line as well, if you're gonna switch off log scale, it's gonna mess up your chart. So you have to make sure that you understand which time frame and the, which kind of chart, which kind of scale you are trading with. All right. So yeah, this had retraced zero point 0.5. So I don't think so we had entered here. Yeah, this wasn't the entry that we had, this was the entry that we had gotten, right? So afterwards what had happened was, after this rally, market had retraced, it had pumped, and this was the resistance. As I said, the big bulky candle. We tried to break above it, we failed here. Again, simple, 0.618 is what I'm looking for. So marking the low way, before market had a rally, market had a break above the recent highs, and I just look at the highs, right? So this was the retracement that I had found. I believe so. There was a Fibonacci level as sorry, there was a pivot level as well out there. I think so. I'm not 100% sure. Just a minute. Traditional auto weekly chart, I think so it was on daily chart. Let me just see on monthly. Just a minute, right? Give me a minute. 5, let's make it 10. Yeah, so there was S1 here. So okay, yeah, there was S1 and there was pivot point here, right? So now pivot points. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna talk about pivot later on, but let me just I'm just trying to show you the confluences that I look at. So this was another confluence for me. Simply speaking, there was also this FVG gap, fair value gap. As I said, I look at lot of different things, and it's just this yellow line that you see on the chart here, this yellow line, no, yellow dotted line, see how it confluences with 0.618 here. So yeah, that was it. And most of the time for targets, I usually aim for like here 0.618 is my entry. I aim for zero point 0.5. This is my ideal entry zone. So the way I spread my bets are basically I start bidding from here. Let's say I'm entering for $100, right? So this first patch I'm gonna enter with 30%, $30 if you will. Okay, this first entry, this first zone, 20% zone was 30% zone for me, 30% of scaling orders, and remaining was all the way down here, like another 70%. I usually scale in with larger sizes to get me an average around this golden number, 0.618, right? So I DCA in, I DCA out as well. I remember I had posted about targets as well for it. Yeah. So this is much cleaner. Hey guys, good morning. So yesterday I tried to record the video. It was 20-minute long video and I kept ranting on about 10 minutes more before realizing that TradingView only allows 20-minute recording. So this year it was stopped at 20 minutes, and I was talking about turbo chart in there and talking about Fibonacci retracement and how I use it for finding my entries and TPs. So anyways, let's just get on with it. Let's just move on to, I will suggest you watch that video beforehand, then moving on to this video here, and this one, the one that I'm recording currently, because I talked about Fibonacci, and apart from it I also talked about the reason for me making this video, because to be honest, I'm not looking at, I really don't want to make a complete series of technical analysis, because there are lots of playlists, lots of learning resources available throughout YouTube, Telegram, as well as there are a lot of ebooks, PDFs as well. So I really don't want to be just another. I really don't have time for it, and I really don't. That's just not me. So just let me know whatever you guys need, and I'll try to make a video on it, or we can just have a live session as well. I'll try to keep on posting more and more charts if I'm available. But yeah, let's just look at the further analysis or further breakdown of my trading style. So the previous video, the video that I'm showing right now, this I had talked about how to enter in a market, how I find my entries based on Fibonacci. So I'm moving on to Pepe chart now. That was the turbo chart, but idea is almost same. So uh, like here on turbo chart, let me just turn on the turbo chart as well. Let's just look at turbo as well, right? Because it will be much better for you guys to understand instead of me just switching to completely different chart. Give me a minute. Turbo, 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 turbo. For 1 year, so 100 million liquidity. This one. I usually, when going through deck screener, if there are multiple pairs available, like for example, both have had two pairs available for the same coin. So what I do is usually I look for the volume. Like this one had better volume, but this one had far more less liquidity. This one had far more liquidity. So I usually go for the one that have better liquidity available in the market. I'm not sure why this is the different pair. Yeah, token is same, but the pair is different. Not sure why. Both are version 3, both are Turbo W Ethereum. Anyways. So I think so. Yeah, this was the chart that I used. So we are just gonna talk about it on here. So the way I explained the previous video, and this is what this is what I was ranting off about for another 10 minutes or so. So the way I use Fibonacci to enter, it's as I already explained, that I usually find the zero point 0.5 zone on the chart, 0.618. That's the ideal entry zone for me. I usually go up all the way to 786, like that. That will be the final bid for me. That this is the final zone for me. So I DCA in probably all the way till here. In this case, I had DCA all the way till here. I had only partial bids filled up until here. I didn't had that 0.618 bit fill as well, right? So that's the reason why I DCA, because I've learned that you can't just have a single entry on the chart, because let's say if you're aiming for a single entry and let's say price came here and it just reversed from here, then what? Like I am looking at a huge move, right? On investor, as an investor, I'm looking at well over 3000% or 30x move. I can't just miss out on that move based on 10-20%, right? I can't be that conservative on here while entering the market. Same goes for TP as well. So I have shared about how I enter in this, but talking about targets, so what I use for targets is mostly that I'm looking at. Give me a minute. So how many message is going on your side. Yeah, sorry about that. So what I use for targets is basically that I usually use Fibonacci extension itself for coins that doesn't have that much of history on the chart, right? Like for Turbo example, didn't have that much of data on the chart. So how I got this level, or how I got that level, the 0.61 that we have had, it was based off a simple Fibonacci extension tool, trend based. So this is the trend that we have. So this was the retracement and this was the 0.618. But later on, once we have had this move, what I use is basically I use the low, I find the high, and I see how much XYZ coin had retraced. So it had retraced all the way till here. So this would have been my good exit point, like this entire zone would have been my good exit zone. But I remember cashing out starting from 0.445. I remember that because that was already 500% move for me. I was sitting at 5x. So why should I just, keep risking on, right? So simply speaking, I usually on coins like this that have huge or wide targets, what I simply look for is if coin has moved, let's say 300 or 400%, I usually cash out initial, or I usually cash out 50%. That's initial plus some profits, and I can just move that liquidity onto some other coin, because I already have got the move, right? I already have been invested for about 2 months or so in this one. So for me, it just doesn't make sense. Like I know I have wide targets, it can still do 2x more from here, but I generally just start cashing out similar to how cash out here, how I DCA in, I DCA out as well. I start cashing out from here, like in this, I think so there was a six, let me just find that. I think so that was this level that I was looking at probably. No, not that one. Hold on a sec. So that's yeah, yeah, 0.61. Give me a minute. Yeah, this was the level that I was looking at. So basically, this was a big move. This was a smaller wave, or whatever you want to call it. This was the smaller wave, and this was just a small retracement. But this bigger retracement, the TP hadn't hit yet. So that's the reason why I had this zone 0.0045, approx 0.005 dollars. So that's when I started cashing out on the larger picture, and for the smaller move I have had this TPA set. So I still hold part of that portfolio. I'm still, at the moment, the reason why I had mentioned that I'm not entering in memes as much as I am entering in coins like Solana or TIA or Ethereum, for example. It's because all those coins, they are at ideal entry levels for me. But when it comes to meme coins like Turbo, for example, here, Turbo, I genuinely feel like that we might just go down a lot more before actually having that pump up, right? So the issue is, like, let's say if I just market buy here, like I really don't want to have a drawdown of 50% or 60%. I just don't want to keep on holding it all the way there. Like here as well, we have good inefficiency candle that still needs to be filled. This weekly lows, though the liquidity resting below that still needs to be taken out. So that's genuinely what I'm looking for. So this is the path that I'm genuinely looking for. So as you can see here, like this was the previous resistance, right? This was the previous resistance. We never had a retest on weekly time frame on this zone. So I'm genuinely looking at a retest here. Let's say I think so. Let me just clean out the chart once again. Sorry guys, I'm just rambling off a bit. It's because I was really pissed off because that was a good flow. I had a good flow going. That was a good video, and it's just that, like, it's I get it, but this is my first video, right? So it was just that I really wanted to make it understandable for you guys. I hope me messing lot of charts is not confusing. Hopefully, please do give me honest feedback, because um, I understand I'm good at chart. I'm and many of you wants to learn about it, whatever the strategies that I use. But it's just that I'm not that good at teaching. I really don't want to go off making PowerPoint presentations and going through presentations to show you what I look at. I This is the way I usually like to do things. I just like to open up random chart and see what I'm looking at, right? So I think so this will be better off if I go live with you guys and I just random coins that we look at and see what confluences we can find, or what entries we can find, or whatever can be done, right? So this is the new entry, fresh entry that I'm looking at. So we have had low here, right? This was the low before breaking this highs, and we have a high here. I have trend lines closed as well. I don't use trend lines as well. I have everything hidden. I just want to see my levels. So I really don't have that much clutter on my chart. So this is the low here, that was the high. Now ideal retracement for me will be, of course, as I said, zero point 0.5 to 0.618, or all the way to 786. I think so 786 will be too deep for this one. I think so this will be the ideal retracement if we get it. So this is a wide zone. Let's say if I start laddering from here, 0.382, that's a good bullish, Fibonacci level. But usually this is much more wider range for me to enter, because I know I probably won't be able to fill this fully. Baits won't be able to fill fully, but I think so up till here, that's 30% average zone. Let's say we have this move, right? So what will be my ideal setup? So I probably will try to get an average about 0.0015 if I can. My stop loss would be about 0.001, not 0.001 actually. Yeah, probably about 0.001. And pivots, traditional, monthly, yearly, auto. So we have a pivot level here as well. So yeah, probably I will keep my stop loss below this zone. I can keep it below this zone for the safer side. I usually don't have hard stops on my chart, especially when it comes to coins like this, especially on a higher time frame. I usually look at price action, what price is doing. As I said that, I think so I have said this before in the video, the previous one. If I am not, I'm sorry, but it's just that I'm not looking at a level. Instead of, I'm looking at a zone. Like here as well, I have the zone marked, right? So I'm looking at a zone, to give me a confirmation whether this has broken down or this has broken out, right? I'm not going to be longing or shorting based on a single level. All right. So yeah, this would be an ideal setup for this fresh trade that I'm looking at. It's still 18 hour, if you will. Like even if I keep it at zero, that's also still 10 hour. I believe so. That's gonna be 10 hour. But this is the ideal setup that I will be looking at. But of course, you can't go risking your entire portfolio in this, right? Because this is like 60% wide, even 60% drawdown. So what I usually do is I usually enter with 2% or 1%. If I have good confluences, like here, if I have a tighter stop loss, if I have good confluences here, tight, entry zone here, then I usually go off about risking 3 or 4%. But most of the time, I generally use 1 or 2% on this kind of coins because I have that wide targets. And when I talk about 1 or 2%, I'm not talking about risking only for stop loss. I'm talking about, let's say you have $100 in your account. I just risk $1 or $2 for this kind of coins because my targets are approx 5 to 10x. That will be 10x, simply speaking. So even if I'm cashing out average at 7x or 6x, that is also 6% return on 1% investment. So that's good returns on risk, right? So that's Fibonacci. That's how I find my confluences. I think so Pepe is much better when we talk about confluences. So most of the time I'm looking at, like, at first glance, ever since means I'm sorry. meaning I have been trading for so long. So now whenever I look at chart, I usually start to see the patterns. Most of the time I don't draw the patterns. I just look at, okay, yeah, this is the triangle, this might be having a breakdown here, these are the levels that I'm looking at, like that. But for certain patterns like Pepe, for example, or if I'm posting something in the channel, I usually mark out those patterns, so it will be easily, understandable for others. So this is the inverse head and shoulder that we have had on Pepe. This is a month weekly chart, and I remember trading it here back in December, 11 December. I remember posting the idea about it. Yeah, it was 11 December. After the weekly close, I had posted about it that, okay, we might be forming this inverse head and shoulder here. And there were a few other confluence forming as well, right? So, as I said, this was like, I hope you guys are aware about simple support and resistance. So, support and resistance idea is simply that, like, this is the price started going up. Now this is an interesting zone, interesting level that price wasn't able to close, and it had a nice retracement from there. Now again price tried going back up, but it wasn't able to close above this zone, right? There were no candle closes above this zone. So what price did, what it got rejected, it got distributed there for about a month, and then price got rejected and just had a nice dump all the way here. Now again what had happened was price tried to go up, right? But what happened was this level that acted as a support, that acted as a resistance again, right? So price formed a double bottom, this W pattern that you see on the chart. Okay, price formed a double bottom and it finally had a breakout, right? It finally had a breakout, and this was again resistance, right? This acted as a resistance over here as well. So this is when I saw the chart and I was like, okay, yeah, this might come back once again to form a inverse head and shoulder. So inverse head and shoulder is basically that you have a right shoulder here, so left shoulder here, that you have a head which is a low, new low, and this is another left shoulder, right shoulder, right? So this is a inverse head and shoulder kind of pattern, like just how your, like, this is a left shoulder, this is your head, and this is your right shoulder, right? This is the head and shoulder, and you are just inversing it and making it inverse head and shoulder, correct? So this is what I looked at, and just a minute. Okay, so this is what I looked at, right? So this was the inverse head and shoulder that I was looking at. And now for me to find entry, like, you saw how the zone acted as a support and resistance, right? So this is the reason why I said that whenever you are marking your levels, try to mark out few levels around that main level that you see. Like usually try to include some wicks that have acted as good support or resistance, right? Like how there were equal lows here, like how price wasn't able to go below this, like how we have had that equal low. I'm actually acting out with my hands currently. So this was again the resistance zone. So price is usually going from one zone, not just one level, right? It's not just one level to another. It's one zone. Like this entire zone, this was a resistance zone. This entire zone that acted as a support here, right? That again acted as a support here as well, right? That acted as a resistance here. So usually try to look at price, try to look at market as it going from one zone to another, instead of just single levels on the chart. Because on higher time frame, like as I'm a swing trader, I really like to enter, I really like to find coins that are gonna give me at least 30 to 50% returns, right? So for me it's much more better to find a zone to accumulate in, and find a zone to sell, right? So it's much more better that way, right? Now back to chart. So high drawings, so this was the inverse head and shoulder that I have marked on the chart. Now as I showed here, this how it acted as a good support here, how it acted as a good resistance here, and it had a nice breakthrough here. So I kind of had a feeling that this might act as a good support here. Adding to that, there was a, like, all right, let me just clean this up, right? So this acted as a good support, right? This was our support zone, this zone, was a good support. Now, those of you who have traded previously with SMC, most of the time, one of the concept that I use from smart money concept or ICT, it's imbalances or inefficiency. So what is inefficiency? It's basically when you are looking at this kind of big candles, big moves, and there is no like basically buyers just went through, or sometimes sellers just went through it. There was no vex, there were no price action through that, there was no reaccumulation, or price didn't give time to buyers or sellers to reaccumulate or redistribute. All right, it just went through the zone, right? So it leaves bit of gap on the chart. So this is the inefficiency that we call, that SMC people call it. So one of the reason why I trade with inefficiency, or I add it on the chart, it's because it's good confluences. It usually forms around like how you see here, right? This is a good support zone, and see how mid point of that inefficiency or equilibrium of that inefficiency, it's sitting at right middle of, right at the 50%, almost 50%, right? And see how price then reacted to it, right? So it's not 100%. Sometimes price comes all the way down, all the way to here as well, filling it completely. But most of the time, 50% fill, it's a good fill that I have learned. And another confluence to add to the chart was, for me, simply speaking, Fibonacci, right? So we have had this low here, we had this rally, and see how 618 lines up with that 0.911, right? So this was the level. So that was one more added confluence. And how low will how the range low of that range low, it lines up with another fib level. So that was genuinely a good accumulation zone. And most of the time, the way I put my stops in is basically I'm trying to DCA in from here, zero point 0.5, trying to get an average around 0.618, and I try to keep my stops right below, not at exact below, but right below. This is why I hate sometimes trading view, because it have really messed up few of my charts, especially on higher time frame. I'm not sure why I have complained about it, but it's that whenever you have few higher time frame charts, let's say you have this weekly chart, you come back to the chart after a while, let's say a month or two, your position, your long position or short position, the TPs and entry will be same, but TP and stop loss will be messed up. Like you will be looking at this kind of weird or way too wide entry and stop losses. I'm not sure why it happens, because I have never noticed it with other tools that I've used on TradingView. Anyways, so most of the time, where I put my stop is, it's right below this big candle, or right below this inefficiency, or right below this full retracement, Fibonacci retracement, or ideal retracement, 0.77 or 0.786, depending how you want to look at 0.618 and zero point 0.5. It's certain for me, those are the fixed levels. 0.77, 0.705, 0.7, 0.786. I've seen people use different levels, so you have to find which level works for you. But for me, 0.618 and zero point 0.5 are the best levels to look at. I rarely look at 0.786 or zero point 0.7. I just look at it for putting my stop in. That's it. I don't look at it for, finding the perfect entry on the chart. I really don't look at it, right? So how it went perfectly here, like how that all that lined up, right? So I put my stop here, and simply speaking, how, as I mentioned, how I use Fibonacci for TP. So 0.618 here for entry, 0.618 here for target. Simple. So that's how I find my entries and my targets. This is the first target, usually minus 0.618. I usually go for 1.618 as well. That is the main target most of the time, and it really acts as a good resistance or as a good support as well. I have used 1.618 to find entry, like after I have entered a short trade. Let's say I'm looking for swing long, so I have used 1.618, like I think so the recent one, this BTC chart as well. Yeah, this also had no. This is the TP1. It just hit TP1. This is my TP2 actually on the chart. But this, I genuinely felt like this would act as a good, interesting level, because we have had this multiple Fibonacci levels on this chart. It's kind of messy chart. I'm not gonna go through this chart. I will just share few details about it later on. But back to Pepe. So yeah, this is how I usually, find out targets of my for my setups. As you can see here, like as I said about Turbo, right? Why I'm not that much bullish on Turbo. Like, look at Pepe. Like, you can see that there is some kind of like head and shoulder in the making as well. Like, we have had this rally. This was a right shoulder. This was a sorry, left shoulder. This was a right shoulder, and this is a small shoulder that in the making. So let's see if we are to let's say if we are to lose this level or lose this zone, horizontal line. I think so this here, this is an interesting zone, right? Let's say if we are to lose this zone, right? It acted support. Okay, we have taken the liquidity here, so but it's not clean. Like, it's not as clean as it was here, but it is some kind of inverse head. Sorry, some kind of head and shoulder pattern in the making. So let's say if this had a breakdown, right? That's about 60% drop from the support zone. So that, and we also have this huge inefficiency here still that needs to be filled, right? So this is the reason why I'm staying away from meme coins. I'm really not much interested in them. Like, this would be the ideal entry zone if we put on fibs as well, right? Let's just clean this up once again. If we put on fibs as well, like this was the retracement that we have had before the big rally up. It didn't retrace to point 0.5. There was no point 0.5 retracement, so I'm just gonna extend it all the way till here. So it still haven't retraced perfectly, right? But I believe so 0.61 it will line up with inefficiency probably. Yep, see. So where is it? That's 2737. That's about how much? 70% from here? 60%. 60% from here. So yeah, this is the reason why I'm not that bullish on meme coins at this moment. I'm not looking to enter in meme coins at the moment. There are no I think so there will be a CPI. I don't have yearly CPI in this one. One year. Yeah, CPI is also here, so it's kind of mixed feeling still. I will just rather wait it out before just layering the bets for it. I'm more than happy to enter in Turbo if we get this kind of price action. It's much more cleaner chart for me compared to Pepe, and yeah, Pepe as well. Pepe is it's a coin that did 50x for me, so I have kept an eye on it, and they genuinely have been, you know, working quite well for the past few months, like 6 months old now, right? So this is the coin that I shared yesterday in the channel, that it's kind of interesting, especially on market cap chart, like how clean that wedge is, falling wedge is. So I'm just waiting out for a breakout here. Let's say price similar to how we saw on Pepe, that it acted as a support, it acted as a support. Now it's acting as a resistance. So probably we will be forming a double bottom here. All right, let's say we have a double bottom here at 500 market cap, 500k, let's say, double bottom here, and it breaks out, right? It goes to 3 million. So I will be genuinely looking at a retracement. If we get it like this level here, probably will act as a resistance, right? So I'm just going to look at from here. Probably if we have a retracement all the way to 1 million, like 1 million, it's going to be an interesting number, right? 1 million, that's a round number, big fat number, that usually, round numbers are good magnets. They act as good support and good resistance. apart from it as well, there are a few numbers like 55555 or 66666 or 7777. Those kind of numbers, they act as a good support and resistances, so you should also keep an eye on those as well. So let's say if it have a breakout, right? I think so we will be able to get an entry around $1 million. That will be the ideal entry because it will line up with Fibonacci level. It will have a support level as well, and probably if we have some inefficiency or we have some uh, efficiency level as well, or maybe we can just put on some volume profile and see if there are some value areas that we can look at. So that will be a good entry, and we can just target at least, in my opinion, at least 10 million should be an ideal target. We can also target 15 million or at least this level, that is 12 million. So that's about 10x. So that's gonna be a good setup. That's gonna be a good trade for coming months. I'm just keeping an eye on. All right. So that's about Fibonacci, FVG, and some confluences that you should look for, right? For finding your entries and targets. Uh, Now this is already 30 minutes in. The previous one was 20 minutes. That's about 50 minutes. So I think so I'm gonna stop here. I'm just gonna see the feedback from you guys, and then I will make a separate video for this breakout target. This mostly I use for intraday, right? So intraday levels, they are much different compared to higher time frames, if you will. uh, Intraday have lots and lots of different levels that sometimes I look at, and there are, like, for example, this. Okay, I think so I can give you a rough idea about it. I think so that will be better, and you guys should just let me know whatever you feel like whether you want a separate video on it or not. All right. So this is the so basically there are two indicators that I use mostly. This is pivot points, and I have added CPR in it, central pivot range as well. So pivot, this is a good read on pivot and CPR, right? So what is pivot? So pivot is basically it's just a pivot point is a price level calculated from previous prices, right? So let's say this is a 4 hour time frame. So this pivot levels that you are looking at, sorry, this pivot level, the P that you are looking at, it is derived from the past week's price action. All right. So whatever price did previous week, we are having those levels derived from based on that price action. It is used to indicate potential areas of support and resistance that offers attractive reward to risk setup for trades. Pivot itself is simply an average of intraday high, low, closing price. Like it mentions intraday, but as I said, for this was like basically low of the week, high of the week, and whatever the closing price of the week was, and divided by three. That's how you get your pivot levels, right? And that's the basic idea about it. You can just search on Investopedia, or you can just Google it. You will be able to find the formulas, and if you want to learn how those are calculated, and this is the simple rough idea. As I said, high plus low plus close divided by 3. Then R1 is basically P into 2 minus the low. R2 is basically P plus high minus low. S1 is P into 2 minus high. S2 is P minus high minus low, right? So this is the basic idea about pivot. But adding to pivot, as I said, that it's not one level that you should be looking at. You should be looking at a zone. So around pivot there is a central pivot range, right? So CPR, I came across it via through Jim Carrey himself. I mean, Jim Carrey have really helped me with lot of different indicators. Past few years or so, we have exchanged few ideas as well, and he's one of those OG, right? That's the reason why he have that OG tag in the group chat group, because he is genuinely one of those people that if you have real questions, if you are asking about trading or anything related to trading, is one of those people who's gonna share whatever he's learned throughout the years, because he has been trading since 2015-16, I think so, or much before that, and he have done it well. He have done well with Indian markets. He have done with crypto as well. He have done well. So he have gone through a lot of different indicators, so you don't have to go through each and everything yourself. You can just simply ask him, and he's kind enough to share that with you, right? He's kind enough to share a few indicators with you. He's kind enough to share some resources with you. But is that you have to take the initiative. You have to ask people. If you see someone who is trading for far so long, you don't have to be like, even at the moment as well. I personally follow a lot of people on CT. I personally follow a lot of people in Telegram as well. I'm not shy about it, or I'm not, egotistical about it, that no, I have my own channel, so I shouldn't be, looking at other people's idea. But that's just stupid. When you have thousand different coins, right? You simply can't expect to go through each and every single one of those coins yourself. You have to find coins that are trendy. Like for example, how we have meme coins trending, how we have AI trending, how we have RW, real world assets. Like there are sectors that trend sometimes, right? And you don't have to go through each and every coin. You have to find people who have already gone through. You have to find the confidence that you can find on those charts, right? So you just have to be open about learning new things. You have to be humble enough to understand that, yeah, you don't know everything about markets, and everybody have something to teach you. Simple as that. Even today as well, I'm still going through astro studies, right? I talked with Tangerine or Tom as well, that we might be having some live session this weekend or probably next. We'll see. He has been trading with Gan levels, right? So Gan is one of those people who is, Tangerine has said many times in the channel as well, that he is a genius, right? So Gan levels, Gan dates, those both are extremely important levels. Extremely, when you look at on higher time frame, it's genuinely good conferences. I have came across Gan dates on Indian markets as well, and how they confluence with lot of economical events as well. How you have some report coming in on that same day, so it's just that you are aware about what could happen on that day. And these indicators, they are just kind of added confidence to it. But it's all about you being able to find multiple confluences, you being able to find multiple probabilities, that what could be the good day, what could be the ideal day for you to trade, right? So CPR, the reason why I use CPR, it's, I think so, Tangerine has also used CPR. He had shared about it few times. So central pivot range, it's a versatile technical indicator, usually comprising of three levels: a central pivot, top central pivot, and bottom central pivot. So you know how we got pivot, and this is just a few more levels around that pivot level. All right. The reason why I use CPR, it's basically that it gives you a good idea about what market will do intraday, especially intraday in options trading. I have found it far more useful, because it will, like, let's say you have like your CPR width. So let's say you have a tight CPR, right, or narrow CPR range, right? So let's say your CPR is narrow, you can expect market to be trendy. All right. Either it will have a good breakout, or it will be having a good volatile price action. Or whenever CPR is wide, you can expect market to just chop around, right? This is also, even though this is choppy, this is also good idea for you to enter in a range trading, right? So you can just enter in a range. Let's say you are longing at range highs, you are shorting at range lows. So this is a good idea about it, right? So this is why I use CPR especially for Indian markets. And this is the mix of indicators. Like, this is the basic indicator that I'm showing you currently, but this is the one that I use, and it's mix of few other things along with it as well. But it's just gonna be too much noise, and it will be better if it had a separate video, in my opinion. So I will make one later on about it, right? So basic idea about CPR is just that, as I showed here, like this here, as you can see, this was a narrow CPR. So what price did was, after it had a breakout, it had a trendy day, right? It had a choppy week. not choppy week but trendy week, if you will, that we have had a support here, it acted as a resistance here, and then it had a nice breakout. So it was a trendy week, right? Mm, like, look at here, like this week here, it was a wide CPR, so it was just choppy. It didn't do much on that week, during that session. So 10 will be good. It didn't do much during this session, but as I said, it's not 100% accurate. You need to understand that. Now, this week we have had huge dump on the market, and we have had a good bounce as well, but this was a wide CPR, so it's not 100% accurate. So you have to find confluences while using this indicator, if you will, because no indicator is going to be 100% perfect, but it's just going to give you confluences for you to trade with. Like, for example, this BTC idea that I am in currently, the short idea that I have had. So it was basically that we have had this breakdown, all right? We have had this breakdown on the chart. There was this, if you look at this resistance zone, right, this was an interesting zone. So we took all the liquidity above this zone. Like, this was like from fifth to like somewhere around 20 days worth of liquidity was taken through here, and we just had a breakdown of it. We just came back to the range, right? In my opinion, this was a wide range, and we just came back to the range, right? So after we came to the range, my idea was that I will try to find a short up till here. I was aiming for this lows to be taken, like all this lows to be taken, right? So I simply used Fibonacci level, and to find me a good entry on 4 hour. There was this inefficiency as well. As I said, imbalance and FEG is one of those indicator that I use mostly. There was this FEG as well, right? And there was this 61 179. That's a monthly level that I had marked on the chart. Monthly or weekly, I'm not sure. I think it was weekly, yeah, it was weekly. Hold on. So it was monthly. Sorry, my chart is a bit messy, but it's on higher time frame. So yeah, this was a monthly level 61. You can see here, it was a monthly level that acted as a support, and then we finally broke through it. 61 here, see, this was the zone that I was looking at, 61 179 approx. And on 4 hour, you are just, trying to refine your entry, because you are obviously, you are, day trading, you are futures trading. So this was the entry that I was looking at, and I got the entry, I got the fills. My stop was wide, my stop loss well above, as I mentioned before, above, full retracement or fib level as well. I think so there was something else on daily chart as well. Yeah, my stop was about this daily candle. I think so this is a bit messy. So this daily candle on 27th August, this daily candles high, I had my stops about that, and I was just aiming for this lows to be taken, right? And of course, I was aiming for my Fibonacci. Like, we have had perfect retracement, so I was aiming for 0.618 on the charts, and that's about it. That's how I simply use confluences based on pivot, CPR, and few other things that I've learned throughout the years, and try to find levels that might be interesting for longing and shorting. Now, I think so. I will talk about this chart as well. I have shared this chart before as well. I think, yeah, this year back in August, I had shared this chart with you guys. So this is a chart that I was just looking at on a higher time frame. So this is simply a range that I was looking at, and I was like, okay, maybe we might be taking out this lows, and we have had taken out this lows. This chart was made back in, I think so, it was June or back here, I think so, I have made this chart. So this was a Fibonacci retracement once again, like this low and this high. It retraced all the way to 0.382, 0.618, sorry, it retraced to 0.618. 0.382 was a retracement of this, I think so this was the larger retracement, probably this larger retracement, that we have had at 0.382. And then I was looking at, like, let's say maybe we will have a dead bounce, we will take out this liquidity, because this is like we have been, we have had set this high for about, like, we just have been chopping on higher time frame. We just have been ranging in a wide 30-40% range, and this high, it needs to be taken, in my opinion, right? Now is the time that all of this liquidity will be taken, in my opinion. Probably in November, late November and early December, most probably. So after this liquidity is taken, I'm just looking at another range here. Probably we will just range here, and we are just gonna come back here. And I'm genuinely looking at super low levels. I'm genuinely not looking for 100,000 or 200,000. I think so. I've mentioned this before in the channel that I'm genuinely looking at 78,000 to 72,000, sorry, 82,000 range. Like, this is the zone where I want to book majority of my profits. And if Bitcoin goes sideways through there, I will be, booking profits of the alters that are pushing. And 2025, probably, let's say February after 2025, I really don't want to be in the market. I will be out of the market most by November or December, if we have that rally that I'm looking for. If not, probably, as I said, I'm not good with timings, not yet. So probably, if not, if we don't have those highs taken now, probably next year in the quarter one, if we have those highs taken, I will be out of the market once those highs are taken. And same goes for altos as well. I believe so altos will have good rally. Like, we will be looking at least 3 to 4x from the lows, or at least 5x from the lows. But depending on where prices are, we will see what it does. But I genuinely don't want to be holding off for new highs or 100,000 or 200,000. That's not my plan. I'm genuinely looking at this range to cash out on. And I'm just going to be, being I will be just patient then to get back into the market on spot, because I kind of have a feeling that we might be in for lower levels. Let me just find that chart. Give me a minute. Red list. Yeah, I think so. It's here on monthly time frame. No, this is another chart. Mhm. Yeah, this is the chart that I really want to talk about. So I had shared this chart back here, I think so, to few of you in private. I had made a small video about it as well. Basically, this is an uptrend channel that I'm looking at, right? And it's just that we acted as a support here, here, once again here. We have had resistance here. Like, this is kind of resistance, if you will. We made a double top here. Now again here, I am genuinely looking at some lower levels that we might be distributing here in this range. And then this in itself, I'm looking at it as a big range. If price, like, looking at here on a monthly time frame, you can clearly see we haven't had proper retrace yet. Like, uh, from the lows of 16,000 that we made back in 2022, all the way to the highs. Let's say this was a cycle high, right? So we haven't had a proper retrace yet. Like, zero point 0.5, it's sitting at 33,566, right? So we haven't had proper retrace yet, right? So this is still bullish chart on higher time frame. This is also kind of like a big ascending triangle. It's just a big range. So probably what price will do is, like, let's say if it comes back here, it goes back up here, it takes out the liquidity, it may just come back here, right? This is what I'm looking at to enter once again in the market. These are the levels. At least 30,000 is what I'm looking for to re-enter in the market. I'm generally not looking at to, buy here. I'm buying here for just this, the 80,000 zone, or 70,000, but I'm not buying here aiming for 100,000 or 200,000. I will buy for those once we have this retracement, right? So Yeah, that's about it. It's already 48 minutes long video, so I'm just gonna stop here. Otherwise, I will just keep on going and confuse you guys more. There are a few more charts that I really want to look at. Uh, this is the second time that I'm saying I should stop, but there are a few more charts that I think so we should look at. So this is just rough charts that I'm looking at. So FAT I had shared before. I think so. This was 2 months back. Yeah, this was shared back in February that I was looking at, and we had this nice rally, nice push up. This it did somewhere around 5x or so, right? And then we are looking at this retracement. So we got the retracement, right? So here, as you can see, like the reason why I had this bits layered at 0.382 basically, it's because this was an FVG that I was looking at. This was a inefficiency or fair value gap that I was looking at, and it lined up with that pivots as well. I think so. That was, yeah, there was a R1 as well. Like we had broke through this pivot zone. We acted as a support here. It acted as a support here. We had nice rally. Now we are looking at the retracement, and it is the pivot level is acting as a support now. Let's see how long it holds off. Fibonacci as well. So this entire move it retraced 0.382, but probably we will have a deeper retracement up till like if market doesn't move already, we might be looking at retracement. If not, we might be looking at nice rally into and into two digits, right? So FET is one of my higher time frame coin that I'm still kind of accumulating. I think so. I've accumulated. I think so 70% position. Just few more positions left for FET. Then the coins that are I'm looking to accumulate more are RNDR. So RNDR as well, like we had this nice rally, we had nice breakout. I'm just looking at this retracement to DCA in this zone. I think so. It should act as a support, even if temporary dead bounce. Let's say till here as well. That's also more than 2x, right? So I'm just looking at this rally for now, and if price decides to go up and have a breakout, then of course it's going to be good for us. So this is the setup that I'm looking at for RNDR. Which other coin that I'm looking at? Polyx, Tau, yeah. So Tau and Tai. This is Madness's favorite coin. So this is it's just been in a descending triangle. So that's why I've risked a lot less than I would have. I was genuinely looking at a breakout here, but we didn't had a breakout here, right? So now I'm just being patient for it to take this liquidity here and see if it reclaims those levels, like this green levels that you see on the chart. If it reclaims those levels, I will re-enter in the similar setup or same setup, and I aim for the highs. If not, I think so we are just gonna have a breakdown, and it's just gonna you know it probably will just have a breakdown. It's gonna give a retest, and it's just gonna go dump, right? So let's see what price does. Soul is one of those coins that's really good on higher time frame, but again I'm looking at 50% retracement to enter. So these are some of those coins. Like you can clearly see here how we have been, acting as support and resistance. SR here. Like price acted as resistance, then it broke through. It acted as a resistance here. Now we just been chopping in this tight range. Again, this is also forming a small triangle. It's a small triangle that might have a breakdown soon. Uh, So if it does have a breakdown, I'm genuinely looking at this zone 0.382 retracement of this entire move, and some confluences with of course Fibonacci levels and pivot levels. So this is a pivot level for me. So pivot plus Fibonacci and plus ideal retracement. I'm just looking to DCA in. If we get the if we start if it starts hitting $80 mark, I'm just looking for retracement. I'm just looking for two DCA in all the way till here $42. That's 50% wide range, and my targets are way high, similar to we saw on FET. This is also a good accumulation in my opinion. aiming for new highs. I think so. We will go here in 2026 or 2027, probably. Not sure. I could be wrong. I'm not good with timings, right? Not a financial advisor. Audi. So Audi, I think so. I had posted here. No, I didn't post it. BM Bhavesh Manik. He played it well. I mean, dude was long from here, all the way from here. He was flexing his PNL here. I was really jealous about it because I really never held a position all the way till here, like 30x on leverage position. That's just fucking awesome. So BM had shared about Audi, and ordinals are, of course, they are, they are good. They are trendy coins. A lot of hype around ordinals, lot of hype around BTC. So this had a good breakdown here, like this range, this double top kind of pattern formed, and it had a good breakdown. Even I think so. There was this trend line reset as retest as well. This trend line retest, if you see here, this trend line retest as well here, and we had this breakdown. It retraced nicely. Now I was looking at start to accumulate here. So this was a first bounce that we had, and that was a small bounce. Then I genuinely didn't expect it to come back lower, but we just been chopping, and it's just been again redistributing, in my opinion. So I'm now looking at the lower levels, like how inefficiency we have here, right? So I'm just looking at this complete retracement, similar to what we have had on TIA. I'll go to TIA chart next, so you guys will understand. So I'm looking at this again, looking at this deeper retracement on this entire move to enter into Audi as well. But I do have good targets with this as well. Like even from here, if we are able to get, enter at about $20 as well. Let's say we take out this lows, we take out this low. Let's say we start entering from here $16, right? So from $16, if you start entering all the way DCA till here, if you get an average of 14 or $15 as well, I think so that's also 10x target for ordinals. So I think so that's good enough, depending on how price does, right? So that's one more coin that I'm looking at. INJ is also another, I think so. No, INJ is not. I don't have a chart for it. Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? TI I will go through. Give me a minute. I just want to clear this off. OXO, it's yeah, it's one more coin. I think I'm not sure what it does. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what it does, but yeah, it have retraced perfectly. Like if you look at Fibs as well, it have perfect. It have perfect retracement. It went to 0.618. So I'm just looking to enter in this one. If we get a chance, this will be the perfect entry if we get it, like zero point 0.7 S1 on pivots, and POC as well, like point of control as well here, right? So this will be the best entry if we get it. That's again 50% down from here. So you see most of the altos that I'm looking at there, I'm looking at them that they should be down about 50% from here. Probably we will see a wick, right? Similar to what we had in 2020, and we see a mean reversal, right? That will be the best part, but you won't be able to catch that live, all right? You won't be able to market it. It's better to have set limit orders for them. So that's the reason why I have some limit orders set on these coins that I shared right now. Super Nothing. Yeah, AVEX. Yeah, AVEX is also one of the interesting points, right? So AVEX had nice. This was the nice first rally. He had good retracement. It took out the lows here. It again had a nice rally on the upside, but it failed to have a breakout, right? So now what I'm looking for, it's simply that it's a larger picture, larger triangle, if you will. So this is some sort of some resistance level that we are at. So what I'm looking for is simply that price should come back here. Hopefully, we'll have this lows taken out. All right, once again, we'll hit here. this is the zone, the rate zone that I have marked. This is a lower time frame zone. I think so. This is a weekly zone, or probably on 3 day or 5 day. All right. So probably we will wick all the way down here, and if it starts reclaiming, let's say it act as a resistance here. If it starts reclaiming the $10 mark, I think so. This is gonna have a nice rally on the upside. But most of the coin, if you look at monthly, they are not at ideal entry. Meanwhile, like coins like Ethereum, right? Ethereum, on the other hand, it's genuinely at good entry for me on higher time frame. So that is the reason why I mentioned in the channel that Ethereum is the one that I'm far more happy to accumulate here. It just chart looks too good. Completely different story. If we, let's say, if Ethereum started breaking down here, then what? Well, you have to accept that, right? You have to accept that this support didn't held, and you have to get out on retest. Simple. Like if we get the retest and if we start rejecting here, I will just get out of the market. Like simple. It's just that you have to be open about possibility that you are wrong, and market is going to zero. What else? What else? What else? Tia is one of my favorite coin because price action on Tia is extremely well. So I was looking to. I'm not sure how many of you are farming for airdrop, but I was looking to accumulate Tia for Milky Way, right? Milky Way airdrop here. So this was the chart I looked at, and I was like, okay, no, let's just wait out to accumulate. We'll we'll accumulate later on at this low levels. So this was my first support zone that I was looking at, right? So we have had this head and shoulder. This was on daily time frame, the head and shoulder. My idea was banned by trading view. House rule violation just because I mentioned TG. Only this word, just because I mentioned TG, the entire idea that I had published was banned. So this was the head and shoulder that I looked at on daily time frame back in March, right? And I was like, okay, maybe let's just wait it out. Let's see what price does. And on higher time frame, I started accumulation from $8. Uh, it genuinely had good range, man. Seriously, like Tia had extremely, like, look at this, like it went all the way to here, right? That was about 30%, I think so. That was 30% bounce from the lows. Yeah, 50% bounces, 50% bounce from the extreme low if you look at. But I think so I traded three till here. So that was 40 30 40% bounce, right? It went back up here, it came back down, it again got rejected here, it came back down. Then this zone, this also acted as a good support and resistance, support and resistance, support and resistance, and we just chopped in that support and resistance. Finally we gave in. Finally it got redistributed, all right, and we gave in, all right. This candle clearly shows that we should come back here. So this is one of those coins that I am happy to accumulate because it have the, good retracement. Now looking at the previous data, okay, looking at the previous data, we are at extreme supports, we are at proper, ideal entry on higher time frame. Like everything is lined up for this coin. So this is the reason why I'm still accumulating it. I'm trying to get my average around $4. Like I can easily get it now. So I had started accumulating through here, right? 7.2, but I had this wide zone in mind, and I have raised only 5, not 5%, 3% with this. So only 3% of the portfolio is invested in TIA, and some bits are still pending, some large bits are still pending here in this zone. So TI is one of those coins that I'm looking at on higher time frame because it's an ideal retracement. Talking about pivot, so we had broken through, like it acted as a resistance here, and we broke through pivot point, we broke to S1. Now S1 is also breaking down. Usually what happens is, let's say you have a breakout from pivot, it usually goes to R1. If you break R1, it goes to R3 most of the time. Same goes for S1 and S3 as well, but I think so this may not be possible for it to go in negative. So I'm just not, looking at it like it's going to zero. but this is generally a good area, right? Like this is a perfect retracement area. This is a good inefficiency that we are feeling at the moment, and this is a good supply zone. Sorry, demand zone in my opinion. So this is a coin that I'm looking at on higher time frame, and give a minute. Hey guys, so Bappa is here basically. It's Ganesh Chaturthi here, right, in India. I mean, most of you are Indian, so I guess most of you know. So, final Vignaharta is here, and that's why there is a band downstairs. So, I'm just gonna stop the video here. Kindly let me kindly give me good feedback. Just be honest with me. Like, this is the first video, as I said. I really don't want to go into making, complete series about trading this and that. When I personally don't use them, I just don't want to do that. So just let me know whatever you guys feel like, whatever. I mean, whether if this video was helpful, uh, what else you guys are looking for in the video. And I have few weeks of free time now. I will be free from 10th of September. Yeah, 10th of September up until early December. I have some time on my hand, so I will try to make couple of videos later on after December. Genuinely, I'm sorry, but don't expect much from my end, because I will be inactive. I will probably log in about once a month or so for the channel. That is, I don't plan to be trading, entire way up and down. I have other things to take care of. So just let me know whatever you guys want to learn, whatever you guys want to understand from my charts, or whatever you guys need. All right, I'm here to happy to help. Uh, Hopefully this video helped at least one of you to understand, and I will make a separate video about breakout, breakdown, and intraday strategies that I use, because in itself it's gonna be a long video. I believe so, because similar to how I look at multiple confluences on higher time frame, same goes for lower time frame as well. But entries and targets are a bit different, because I try to, of course, when you are looking at a smaller time frame, you are not trying to DCA in, right? You are trying to snipe that entry most of the time. So anyways, just let me know, give me your honest feedback. All right, and have a good weekend.